Hi, Jamie here from Overblown. I'm here with Howard from Partholón, a Cork-based post-metal band who just last year released their... is it an EP or an LP, actually?
It's an EP.
It's an EP, because it's very long still.
It is quite a long EP.
Follow Me Through Body, and it got really wonderful reviews. But my favourite review is the one from, well, we won't name the publication. They said it's a hipster emo music pretending to be metal for urban dwelling 20-somethings without a hot topic nearby. So
I think that's a good analogy of what we do.
There is no hot topic nearby, so I suppose it was accurate enough from that point of view.
I think his intention is to troll a little bit.
Yeah.
But to me, it's more of a compliment than an insult, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
So we're hipsters, so we're trying to be different. But what is a hot topic? I don't know.
Well, it's a clothes shop.
It's a clothes shop?
American clothes shop. People go and buy like fucking corn t-shirts and stuff back in the day.
Oh,
actually, remember there used to be a shop in town called like
that's far more insulting.
A-Print or something like that.
Yeah, so it's a bit like Carrigan or something like that.
Well, it's like a small little like nail varnish, and it's for emos, but it's very scene, like, you know what I mean, as opposed to.
Yeah, I suppose like that's very relevant criticism. I think we are very much an archetypal post-metal band.
Yeah.
I think as we're going at the moment with our first release, it was necessary to do something like that. So I mean that's a welcome criticism, really.
It's like setting a foundation, like, because there's lots of touchstones. Like when you're listening to it, like I reel off the kind of the influences.
We've really kind of worn our influences on our sleeve in the first release.
Yeah.
But it's our first wave of music. We're a new band, and we need a reference point. And it's grand to say that we've got this spiritual energy that comes together and produces something magical. Mm-hmm. But the truth is, we like certain kinds of music, and it's come out in the first release.
And I think as well is that I said on your Facebook actually that you should put that on a t-shirt. I would buy that t-shirt. Absolutely, just across the front.
And that's the thing.
Partholón on the back or something.
It's crazy because there's been so many good reviews and some very articulately written pieces about what we've done, and some very insightful stuff that I hadn't thought about myself.
Yeah.
But looking at it from a different point of view, it makes perfect sense. But this is the one that gained the most traction on Facebook and the likes, So I think we got more likes for this than anything else. Even the release itself, when we put it up to let people know we new music out there, this usurped that.
So this is more popular than your actual music.
This is it. Like, so it just goes to show people are just more attracted to negativity and things like that, which is good for us, because that's what we're trying to achieve.
And Magnus Lindberg from Cult of Luna mastered it. So how did that come about?
Well, we've been big fans of Cult of Luna for a long time, going back to the Beyond album. At the time when the Beyond came out, it was something for us that was a powerful piece of music. Mm-hmm. So we went to see him at Roadburn, myself and the drummer Alan, and it was great. I remember just looking at this as fantastic, the production of the whole live show.
Yeah.
But we just took a chance. We found out that he was doing mastering a service, so we just contacted him and we sent him the raw tracks, and he showed an immediate interest. He got back to us within 30 minutes of sending the email.
Jesus.
So he had a quick listen through it, got back to us, had some suggestions, and from there, within 2 weeks, we had the finished product. It was great.
Well, that's pretty efficient.
And
that's kind of cool to be able to put that on the...
Yeah,
it
is a badge of honour kind of thing, to a certain degree, but I guess that's what it is. It's a kind of it validates it a little bit, and it puts it in that post-metal kind of category for us. But I don't think it would have sounded much different if we'd gone with someone else. He did a great job.
Yeah.
But
it's nearly like a seal of approval or something.
That's it. We wanted to see what people who we admire, what they thought of what we did.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't have done it if he didn't like it.
Absolutely,
His feedback since has been pretty good. So, it's a thumbs up from us and thumbs up from him. We're happy.
Everybody wins.
Yeah.
One of the songs on the EP was Jerusalem, and there was talk about making a music video for that at some
That's
stage.
right. Yeah.
Did that happen, or did it?
No, it didn't happen, but it could still happen.
It's
a pretty wide concept, so it's difficult to do things like that without kind of diluting the message, so to speak.
Yeah.
So we could put something out there and it could look terrible, and it would be open to a sort of criticism. And if you're doing something that you feel that's in danger of criticism, you shouldn't do it.
Well, and that song as well, I suppose, in particular, kind of has a sensitive topics involved.
It does,
like,
and this is it, especially in the current environment. Yeah. But it's a difficult thing to do, and the concept that we have is quite striking. And it's something that we couldn't really discuss even now.
Well, fair enough.
But it's either something we're going to do or not.
Yeah.
But as it stands, it's 50-50. It really is. It hasn't gone away, but it's it could happen. It could happen. I hope it does. But we need everybody on board.
We need everybody on board. Always got to make sure everybody's on the same page. And you said as well that Hunt, the last song on the EP, is an indication of where you're going forward. What the music's going to be like going forward, and that's quite a long, expensive. It's like nearly 15 minutes, I think.
It is, and it's not filler. I mean, a lot of time you tag something on for atmosphere and things like that. But I really felt that Hunt needed to be 15 minutes long.
Yeah.
And you know, it's very hard to hold someone's attention for 5 minutes, let alone 15 minutes. But I'm not really worried if it holds people's attention or not, but it was very important for us to have it go in that direction at the end of that song, because we already have the next record in mind, and it's important for that to happen for the next record to make sense.
It's kind of like a segue type thing, is it?
It's a little bit like a bridge, yes. Yeah. So we're picking up where we left off with the new material, and in order for that to work, that had to happen, and it's relevant to the overall sort of aesthetic that we're going for.
Yeah.
It might not make a lot of sense now, but with the next record, I think it will start to meld together.
And you were saying as well that song's about kind of dying heritages and how.
It is, yeah. It's
so was it a reference to aspects of Irishness, or?
I suppose it is in
more
a sense.
Generally than that.
It's more of a kind of I think modern society has lost touch with or pagan culture, for example. But my father was a fisherman, and he has this kind of, it's called draft net fishing. So it's an ancient type of fishing to a certain degree. It's an old type of fishing, and it's dying out. I think at one point there was about 100 people in the harbour that were doing this. Now it's down to 6 or 7, and it's a really honest way of making a living, and it's something that was very important to me growing up because it put food on the table, if you know what I mean. So. It's kind of an example of something that is just so overlooked these days. It's something that was so pure and special, and all of a sudden it's been convoluted.
Yeah, like I guess I kind of know what you mean. My dad's a carpenter, right? But he'd actually call himself a joiner, you know.
Exactly.
And he was involved in training and false and stuff like that, and he'd say just the way that they're training the kids now, which he was part of. He was like, these guys, it's like IKEA stuff, like, you know what I mean?
This is it, and that's exactly what I mean. So it's a case of, I mean, maybe 100 years ago you'd have lads who would spend weeks in making a cabinet, and they'd put so much effort and specialty into it, and a craft. It's a craft, like, whereas now any average Joe can pick up a thing and just stick it together, and there it is. And it's the same with fishing and then things like hunting and so on. We can go to the shop, we can buy as much meat as we want. We don't care how it's made. You know,
don't care where it comes from.
Don't care where it's come from. It's just a case of it's dying out. It's something that's going to die out in our lifetime, I would imagine.
Yeah.
It's sad to see it go, because it's a beautiful thing.
But you can even go into other areas, like things that are going to start getting really automated. Like I was reading an article about that recently as well, about how just essentially, like, I mean, like, there's different things, because it's not as skilled, I guess, but like tellers in a shop or something like that, like they're going to be gone. Like,
I think even the concept of a shop is going to be gone in the next in our lifetime, because it's just like that. You go to the supermarket now, you go up to the machine, you scan your stuff, and you walk out.
Yeah.
You know, there's no sort of interaction with the.
And you miss that, like, I miss the, like, say, you know, you'd have those old corner shops that you go into, and they'd have the, like, for
and
instance,
they'd know your name, and they'd feel like, you know, they know what you want, and they know what brand of cigarette you smoke, for example. You can't even smoke cigarettes now, and it's just, to me, it's a sort of a restriction on freedom, and it's a sort of a suppression of something that is so beautiful and so honest that it's very hard to see a good future for these kind of things, if you know what I mean. It's just something that I think we're going to forget very quickly, and have no sort of connection to. So that connection has been broken slowly over time, and I think we're at a crisis point with things like that now, where it's going to happen very quickly. And that hard work ethos is just going to dissipate. It's just so easy to do things now. Why would you work hard to do it? You know? And you can see that argument as well. But for me, it's
well, there's a value in, like, if you're creating something, not taking the shortcut, because there's loads of shortcuts. You can do for instance, if you're in a band, you can do the pro tools, and you miss a note or something, so you just go in and pull that out and put in the right note. You know what I mean? And
it's all these little nuances that was so exciting about music in the 60s and 70s, that it's just bands going in and just recording and having fun. And getting their chops up so that they don't make a mistake. You know?
Exactly, and you could play it so it's absolutely perfect, like, essentially. Or you could go and take the kind of Neil Young Tonight's the Night approach, where it's just like a bit of a shambles, but that's great too. Like,
but this is it, and
you know?
and that shows a sort of vulnerability and a human element to Neil Young, if you know what I mean. Is that he's not a perfect person creating a perfect thing. There has to be room for error, and that's part of a journey with an artist. Is there's ups and there's down. There's so much pressure now to have everything so perfect and sounding so great, but
there is.
If you put in the work, you're going to sound honest.
Yeah, that's it. I actually have a conversation about this with friends a lot of the time, that you'd be like, it's not necessarily whether, say, for instance, a singer is technically good, it's whether I believe them or not. Like, I mean, Neil Young technically can't really sing that well.
Singer.
Yeah, he's awful. Bob Dylan's an awful singer.
Bob Dylan is awful, but Johnny Cash, for example, I mean, the man had a note in his head.
Yeah, he could do the same thing. Like,
he said things in a way that just kind of rattled that primitive bone.
Yeah.
That kind of made you think, this guy is honest, he's onto something, and it's something I can relate to. And if I can't relate to it, it's something that I know feels right.
Yeah.
Whereas if you've got Taylor Swift singing "Shake It Off," I mean.
Yeah.
What
does that mean?
What does
or
that
you get like
mean, you know?
Rihanna or something talking about how it took me so long to write the lyrics for such and such a song.
Yeah.
And it's like 5 minutes of her going, I don't know, Umbrella over and over again or whatever.
This is it, and I doubt very much that she wrote any of those.
And that's it as well. Like, that's the other thing.
But that's the sad reality of music these days. It's for mass consumption, and
it's becoming more homogenized. And
it is, but it's going to have. I think it does have that opposite effect of people are starting to look for that authentic thing again, where they're starting to go to gigs and they're starting to look for that band that's going to be a visceral connection to reality.
Yeah, there's a kind of a DIY thing coming through.
There is, and it's always been there, but I think it's. You can only push it back for so long. I think people really are looking for the alternative now. You know, I mean, people are sick of hearing Umbrellas and Shake It Off on the radio. They just want something that will go, you know, this is different. This is something that actually speaks to me in a way that I don't understand now, but I want to find out more. Yeah. And I think I hope that we'll see that sort of commitment to music again.
I would too. Like, my job.
Live in hope, you know.
Live in hope. And so moving on, the last thing we'll talk about is new music. So what's happening with?
Yeah, we're onto our third wave of music at this point. What we released is the first wave. We've got about 4 or 5 songs from the second wave, and we're onto the third wave now. We have a new guitarist with us, Cian from Terriers. He's been a fantastic addition.
Oh, Terriers are great. Right?
Yeah, and he's kind of given us I wouldn't say a boost, because it's kind of, you know, the normal thing to say when someone comes in, they give you a boost and there's enthusiasm and blah blah blah. But it's not. No, he comes in and he's chopped her up to skill. His skill is up, and he knows what he's doing. He's got a professional approach, and we're starting to create something really, really exciting. So I'm kind of looking forward to getting the new music out of the way. To get on to the new music. But we're planning a split EP with a Cork band. I won't say who for now, but the track is recorded. It's ready to go. It's just get them to finish their bit now, and we'll have a 7-inch release. And that's the next step. That's the break between the last recording and the next one. But it'll be something a little bit different than what we've done before.
Excellent. Well, that's good. Cheers. Thanks for talking to me.
No worries. Thank you very much.
Make sure to follow or subscribe to our channel on YouTube, and go to www.overblown.co.uk, and you can read loads of stuff about bands like Partholón and all that kind of stuff. And thank you very much, and I'll talk to you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Massive. Cheers.